Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, for another day of fighting fantasy fun as I play Island of the Lizard King for the second time. Now, for those of you who watched last episode, you may have noticed something I noticed, that in this book there are lots of ways to lose skill, unusually, because it hasn't been the case so much with the earlier books in the series. And indeed, at one point, I found myself having to fight an unarmed combat, which gave me -3 skill, at the point when I already was reduced to 4 points, and I fought with one effective skill point, which is a record for me, certainly. So, otherwise, I seem to get quite far. I think I was just before getting to the actual lizard men that I'm looking for, where there are prisoners and the gold mine. I think I was at a point just before that when I had to succumb to death, I suppose, for having such a low skill. So I'll try again today and see what happens, and hopefully it will be okay. As the cameras are running, sound is running, and unusually today as well, out of character perhaps, I've got a cup of coffee. I've got just a sachet instant cappuccino, which is still quite nice. So, without too much further ado, I will be ready in a moment on my desk with my game book and my supplies. So, right, here we are. Got my book, got my pad for my character sheet, got my map from last time, and I think I've got a few places here that I made a note of, that in red that means do not go there. But I'll start by making my character sheet here. Skill, stamina, and luck. I've got provisions. 10. Let's roll these dice. Let's see. Skill, 1 die, +1. That's too low, I think, so I'll go 3. Okay, so we've got a skill of 9. I suppose that's acceptable. For a stamina of 16 and a luck of 11. Potion. Maybe I should do a potion of 16 is quite a low stamina, but yeah, I'll try. See what happens. I think I'll go with a potion of skill today, because there were so many places to lose skill that having a potion to actually give you back skill might be a good idea. So, without too much further fuss, let's get started. I think I'll just do a sort of quick background now, because there's really not much that needs to be said. I mean, the background isn't that elaborate. Basically, you have traveled from the city of Fang, or the town of Fang, where, of course, previous book, that was where it happened, in Death Trap Dungeon, and you basically are going on a holiday, I guess, to a peaceful place, usually a peaceful corner of Alancia or Titan, where they're called Oyster Bay, where it's just a fishing village, and there is a friend of you living there who is called, what was his name again? His name was Mungo. So you get there, and the first thing that happens is you see women crying, and you see men determinedly walking off, looking a little bit aggressive, because lizard men have been kidnapping their young men who stayed behind when all the older men went out fishing, and they presume they've been taken to Fire Island, where there used to be a prison camp run by the lizard men. But at some point it was shut down. The lizard men, they just what happened exactly? Let's see. Well, certainly they've been let's see. Used to be a prison colony, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Yeah, it was just abandoned as a prison colony, and the lizard men, they received no pay, etc., the guards, and so they just took everyone prisoner. Well, they were prisoner already, but they had them start digging for gold, and of course at some point they would just have to go and get more labor, so they went to Oyster Bay to kidnap young men. And that's it, really. And Mungo, he wanted to go alone because anyone else in the village, they were... Mungo is an old adventuring friend, by the way, so he's a bit experienced with this sort of thing. And when you arrive, just as he's about to leave for Fire Island, he recruits you to come along with him. So, yeah, not the most inspiring beginning of a book, I think, or sort of most inspired beginning, but yeah. And that's how the story starts. So you're supposed to go and rescue the young men of Oyster Bay, basically. Ah, yes. Okay. Paragraph 1. Mungo's years with the fishermen of Oyster Bay have made him a skillful boatman. He swiftly hoists the sail of the small boat and sets a course due west across the silvery blue sea. The land soon recedes into the distance, and you sit back on the deck, relaxing in the afternoon sunshine. From the stern you hear merry whistling, the creak of the rudder, and Mungo occasionally calling out to a seabird passing overhead. You think about the good times you used to have with Mungo, his constant cheerful nature and willingness to help people in need. You find it difficult to believe that so much evil exists in the land when there lives the likes of Mungo. Well, there's only one of him, I suppose. As the hours drift by, you talk and laugh, trying to ignore the dangers ahead. Mungo is always one to tell a tale, and he is now telling you about his father and how he used to work in a travelling circus. He was a big man, big as a mountain, laughs Mungo, and he would do just about anything for a paying crowd. Wrestle trolls, have elephants stand on him, and even let a killer bee sting him. He was a tough old customer, but he finally met his match in the north. The circus was in Fang as one of the attractions during the festivities surrounding the Trial of Champions, and my father decided on a whim to enter. He walked into Death Trap Dungeon and, alas, was never seen again. He was really too old for such an ordeal, although there was no telling him that, but at least he tried. Just as Mungo is about to tell you his next tale, he jumps up and shouts, "Land ahoy!" at the top of his lungs, top of his voice, as though he were yelling the news to the crew of a galleon. You look to where he is pointing and see Fire Island in the distance. The island sits on the sea like a green cushion, with a jagged mountain protruding from it. Smoke gently curls up from its top, a volcano's fuming anger waiting to explode. Mungo steers the boat towards a small inlet at the eastern tip of the island, hoping that it will remain concealed between the high rocks. You both put on your backpacks and clamber out of the boat to begin your quest to find the Lizard King. If you wish to scramble round the rocks to the beach in the cove to your left, turn to 24. If you wish to clamber over the rocks on the other side of the inlet to the beach in the cove to your right, turn to 33. Now, last time I went to the left and found myself face to face with quite a crabby crab, and also a giant one. It didn't hurt me, but it killed Mungo. So now the question remains, should I try to go right and see what happens there? I think I'll go right, because I like doing different things if possible, unless it seems like a very silly thing to do. And even then, actually, if it seems like a silly thing to do, I do like doing different things so I can get all the possibilities covered on my map. So I'm going to go right, and that was 33, wasn't it? Okay, so you soon reach the beach, but duck back down behind the rocks when you see what is happening on it. A rowing boat has been dragged onto the beach, obviously by the 6 pirates who are standing around a large chest. You look at Mungo and discuss what to do. If you wish to attack the pirates, turn to 340. If you'd rather climb back to the inlet and over to the beach in the other cove, turn to 24. So we have the option of going back or attacking the pirates. 6 of them, but there's 2 of us, so I suppose I'll just go and attack them and see what happens. You draw your swords and run down onto the beach, hoping to catch the pirates off guard. You manage to cut two down before they are able to draw their cutlasses, and then you each fight 2 of the remaining 4 at the same time. So fighting 2 at the same time, this could actually be quite a tough battle potentially. So we have, so I'm fighting, I'll just do bigger writing than usual now. So I'm fighting a 7, right, I'll do my own first because that's the last thing I roll for. So I'm 9, 16, and I'm fighting an 8, 6, and a 7, 7. And I'm fighting them both at the same time. So maybe, well, I suppose it's sort of 7/7 means I have to hit him 1 extra time to kill him, but then again he's got a skill of 7, so he might be faster to kill, and it's usually best to start with the one that is faster to kill because you're less likely to get injured overall. So I'm going to start with a 7/7, and I've got a 2-point skill advantage, and I'll just run through the combat system quickly. So you roll 2 dice for your opponent, so he's got 7 skill, and you add it to that. He rolls a 9 and you add 7, so that is 16. That's his attack score. I've got 9 and I roll 11, so my attack score is 20. Whoever has a lower attack score gets injured for 2 points of stamina. I usually like, oops, not 2 left, but 5 left. I usually like calling it hit points because I think it just rolls more trippingly off the tongue, and it's a term used in Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm just used to it from the old days of playing role-playing games. So, hit points. Yeah, I don't know. I like it better than calling it health or stamina or anything like that. Hit points. So, next round. No, hang on. Because this is a battle against 2 opponents, I roll an attack against the other one as well. But if he hits me, I get injured. But if I sort of hit him, that just means I've parried his attack because my main attack is against the other guy. So that's a special rule for fighting 2. So he rolls an 8 plus 9, and I roll 9 plus 8, which is a draw, which means nobody gets injured. There we have it. Next round. So I've got a 2-point advantage. He rolls a 6, I roll 4, which is a draw. Nobody injures anyone. The next guy rolls a 9, I roll an 8, so that's a draw again. Sounds like I had the right skill for exciting battles. First guy again, he rolls a 4, I roll a 10, so he is down to 3 hit points. Second guy rolls a 4, I roll a 5, so nobody gets injured. First guy again, he rolls a 7, I roll a 5, that's a draw again. Second guy rolls a 9, I roll a 6, and I get injured for 2 points. Next round, first guy rolls a 5, I roll a 9, he's down to 1. Second guy rolls 7, I roll 3, so that is me down to 12. First guy rolls an 8, I roll 4, I'm down to 10. Second guy rolls a 7, I roll a 4, I'm down to 8. This is not going too well. First guy rolls a 3, I roll a 3, so that is him dead. Second guy rolls an 8, I roll a 4, so I'm down to 6. And now it's just the other guy, so he rolls a 2, I roll an 8, he's down to 4 hit points. He rolls a 5, I roll a 9, he's down to 2 hit points. He rolls a 10, I roll an 11, and he is dead. But I only got 6 hit points left, so my stamina is quite low today, and it's a bit risky. Okay. So just update my stamina of 6, and it's also possible to use luck in battle, but I'm saving that for important things like luck rolls. That are several luck rolls here. So there was a, let's go to the blue pen there, 7, 7, 8, 6, and you win, and you go to 61. Look around to see Mungo fighting the last remaining pirate, the captain. Before you can help him, the captain lunges forward, piercing poor Mungo through the chest. He lets out an anguished cry and drops onto the golden sand in a crumpled heap. The captain turns to face you, a grotesque sneer on his face, distorted by a long black scar running down the left side. No cliches whatsoever in this book. You charge at the captain, seeking to avenge Mungo. So basically, whether you go left or right here in the beginning, Mungo does actually die basically in the first, so very soon after. So now this is going to be a little bit tricky because the captain is 10, 6, and I am 9, 6. We both only have 6 stamina left, but he's got 1 better than me in skill. So this could really go badly, but well, just have to roll the dice. So he rolls 9, I roll 4, so I'm down to 4 hit points. I will have to use luck at some point here, I think. Maybe I should use 1 luck point now, trying to reduce the damage to myself, because that'll give me 1 extra round to survive. So I'm testing a luck now. I got luck 11, and I rolled 10, so my luck goes down to 1 point, like it always does when you test it, whether it's successful or not. And I reduced the damage done to myself by 1 point, which means he now has to hit me 3 times to kill me. So he rolls a 9. That's better than I was hoping for. I roll a 9, which means it hits me again, and I'm down to 3 hit points. He rolls 10, and I roll a 10, which means it hits me again, and I've got 1 hit point left. It doesn't look very good, does it? He rolls a 5. I roll a 6. That's a draw. He rolls 8. I roll 4, and I am dead. Okay. Right, I think I'll just start over again, obviously, because yeah. But I think I'll roll new abilities because these ones are rubbish. Okay, so skill. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do 4. Okay, so 10 skill. That is acceptable. Stamina. No, that's too low as well. 8. Okay, so that's all right. 20. And a luck 12. Okay, so that is a lot better. So I'll still do the potion of skill, maybe. Yeah. And I'll do exactly the same. So I'm going to go and fight the pirates again. So we have here. Now we've got 10, 20. I'll just put that there. 10, 10, 20. And there's an 8, 6, and a 7, 7. So basically I'm back on the beach and I'm trying to fight the pirates again with my new character who's suddenly spawned somewhere in the world, and see what happens. So okay, so now I've got a 3-point advantage on the first guy and a 2 on the second guy. So first guy rolled 7, I roll an 11, so he's down to 5. Second pirate rolls 8, I roll 7, so that is still me hitting him, which means, well, actually it means I'll just parry his attack. First guy rolls 9, 3, I'm down to 18, 7, 8. Second guy, that's me successfully protecting myself. First guy rolls a 12, I rolled a 5, 16. Second guy rolls a 9, I rolled a 5, I'm down to 14. This doesn't really go well. 7, 6. I'm hitting the first guy again. Second guy rolls a 3. I roll a 12, that's fine. First guy rolls a 9. I roll an 8, he's down to 1 hit point. Second one rolls a 3, I roll a 7, that's fine. Protecting myself there. First guy rolls an 8, I roll a 7, so he is dead. Second guy rolls 8, I roll 5, so that is me down to 12 hit points. Now I'm just fighting one of them. He rolls 2, I roll a 7, he's down to 4. He rolls a 4, I got roll 11, I'm rolling really well now. He rolls a 7 and I roll 6, so he is dead. I got 12 hit points left at the end of that battle, and then it's the pirate captain. So I got 10, so 10, 6, and I've got 10, 12. So I should have the definite advantage there, even though we don't have any skill difference. So he rolls 7, I roll 4, so I'm down to 10. He rolls 10, I roll 5, so I'm down to 8. He rolls 5, I roll 7, I'm down to 6. He rolls 9, I roll 8, I'm down to 4, and maybe that's time to start using luck again. So I'm using luck once, trying to reduce that damage done to me, and of course I got 12 luck, which means it's automatic, but I'll roll anyway. So I'm down to 11 luck, and I've got 1 hit point back, and I've got 5 hit points now. So he rolls 10, I roll 8, I'm down to, oh come on. Hang on, did I hit him there and actually forget to reduce his, I don't think I did. Okay. He rolls an 8, I roll an 8, that's a draw. He rolls a 2, I roll a 12. It's down to 4. Maybe I should use luck again to do extra damage to him. So I'm rolling against 11 and make it down to 10. Takes 2 extra damage. He rolls 11, I roll 10. I'm down to 1 hit point. He rolls 5 and I roll 6, and he is dead. And yeah, I'll just pretend I took the potion. Pretend I took the potion of stamina. No, I'll just keep the potion of skill for now. Right, so I've got 1 hit point left. I've got 10 skill, 10 luck left, and that is the end of the battle. And that is really hard. So, 10, 6, and I win. I'm presuming I'm going to go back the other way eventually now. So I'm going to 165. That was a lot of rolling. Sorry, that was a bit boring to watch probably, but sometimes you just have to do the rolling. The sand all around Mungo is red with blood. You kneel down beside him and gently lift his head in your arms. His eyes open a little and he manages a half-smile despite his agony. In a whisper he says, "Well, we got them, but a lot of good it did me. Make sure you get the Lizard King for me, won't you?" Then his eyes close and he slumps down dead. You bury him on the beach near the cliff, marking the grave with his sword skewered into the sand. You see a narrow goat track leading up the side of the cliff and then look back at the chest lying on the beach. If you wish to walk up the goat track, turn to 200. If you wish to open the chest, turn to 398. Well, there's no point fighting the pirates without opening the chest, so I'm going to, let's see, 200, track, or 398, chest. So I'm opening the chest. You prise open the chest and are surprised at its contents. Iron bars. The captain must have tricked his crew into believing they were bearing treasure, and the real treasure is probably still on board his ship. Not that it will do him much good now. You decide to put one of the iron bars in your backpack. All this for a single iron bar. That better be a really useful iron bar. Okay, so iron bar. And then you go to the gold track, 200. Oh. I'm thinking this is probably not a very good, so going right in the beginning doesn't sound like the right choice. Going left is seems a lot safer. So I'm going to 200. You wend your way up the goat track and are quite exhausted by the time you reach the top. You take a swig of water from your flask and realize that water shortage could be a problem for you on this. This looks very familiar. Did I go this? It seems to be exactly the same text as one of the paragraphs on over here somewhere, but it's not the same number. So, you see the daunting sight. Looking west, you see the daunting sight of the sleeping volcano standing above the trees, but no sign of life. Although you can certainly hear it, a cacophony of bird and insect noise. With the light quickly fading, you decide to camp down for the night behind some rocks. You do not sleep very well and are awake at first light, eager to set off. You decide to head directly west into the trees, turn to 391, and that is where we are brought back to what seems like a very linear adventure. So I'm back in one of these where I was last time. The last time I went into a hut and there was something. Was there something there? With a liquid. Yeah. Well, it's nothing. Ah, yeah. There was. You got sort of a potion to protect you against plants, actually. Right. So at the moment, that looks like the wrong decision. So maybe next time, I'm probably going to go the other way again. Anyway. 391. So now we are back in known territory for the time being. The undergrowth between the trees is dense. Plants with long or broad leaves, some with spiny tips. That's the guy that killed me last time, by the way. Some with spiny tips, vines, creepers, fungi, roots and flowers of all sizes, shapes and colors, fighting for light and space in the humid jungle thicket. You have to use your sword to cut your way through it, and it is a long and slow business. If you wish to sit down and rest at the base of a great tree, turn to 53. If you would rather continue hacking your way west, turn to 81. Now, sitting behind the tree means that the tree attacks you, basically, and that's the only good thing that comes out of it. So I'm not doing that. I am going west. So these are certain, well, the circle in pencil now, the ones that I know are the correct, definitely the correct choices. As you push your way slowly, hang on. Before I go there, because I've forgotten to eat now and I really need to eat something. So I'm going to stop, and of course I stayed the night and I've been resting quite a bit, so I'm going to have eaten quite a bit of provisions now. I'm going to eat 4 provisions to get my stamina up to 17 before we go any further. Right, just retroactively, because yeah, I'll need that now. As you push your way slowly through the undergrowth, the hairs on the back of your neck start to prickle and you feel that you are being watched. You stand back, sword ready, watching the leaves for any sign of movement. Then 3 dark-skinned men step into view, each wearing only a crude loincloth. They're armed with stone clubs and long spears, but you are more alarmed to see that each wears a belt of shrunken human heads. The headhunters start to argue about who should kill you and earn the right to wear your head on his belt. Finally, one steps forward. Fight them one at a time. Okay, so headhunters. So 6, 6, 7, 6, and 6, 7. Right. So I've got 10, 17. And I am fighting in order a 6, 6, 7, 6, and a 6, 7. So there we are. So we can just so we can see that there. Right. So one at a time. So first one, I've got a 4 skill point advantage. That's the easiest way to think about it. So I can just calculate quickly in my head what I need to roll. He rolls a 5. I roll an 8. It's down to 4. He rolls 8. I roll 8. He's down to 2. He rolls 4. I roll 10, and he is dead. Next one, 3 point advantage. He rolls a 5. I roll a 4. It's down to 4. He rolls 11. I roll 2. I'm down to 15. He rolls 10. I roll 8. That is me hitting him. He rolls 8. I roll 5. That's a draw. He rolls 3, and I roll a 9, and he is also dead. Next one, I have a 4 point advantage. He rolls a 7. I roll a 4. He's down to 5. He rolls a 5. I roll a 9. It's down to 3. Some of these rolls I don't technically need to make, but I just, for the rhythm of it, I just do mine as well, even though I would win it even if I don't have to. He rolls a 7, and I roll a 9. He's down to 1. And finally he rolls a 7, and I roll a 6, and he is also dead. And I've got 15 hit points left, 15 stamina left. If you win, turn to 177. Okay, so that's still one where I have to go there. 177. I think this is where I got a spear, didn't I? 177. The headhunters have no items or equipment on them, but have a hide bag containing bananas and coconuts. You save your own provisions and eat the headhunters' food. Add 1 stamina point. Not of a saving, is it? I mean, it would have made sense for that to be a full ration and you getting 4 points back, but anyway. You wonder if their village is nearby and decide to climb a tree to get a better view. From the top you see smoke rising not far away in the southwest, perhaps from a village. Directly west you see the trees gradually thin out, and away in the far northwest you see the daunting shape of the volcano. You climb down from the tree and plan which way to head. If you wish to keep going west, turn to 229. Wish to go northwest in order to circumvent the smoke, turn to 12. Now last time I went west, and I think there was something in, because if I go there, looks I'm able to get a spear, and I think this, if I remember correctly, this is where I sort of get to learn about a raft. I'm not sure if that's needed or if it's going to be just a good thing that makes it easier, but I think I'll keep going west here. Maybe I should just quickly have a look at the northwest bit. 105. Just to see if there's anything, since I'm not planning to. There's something else going on in that I don't. There's something else there as well. So maybe I should try the other way then, because this looks like there's an encounter there as well. Just so I can find out which way is the best eventually. So I'm going to try going northwest to circumvent the village, to go away from the smoke. So you struggle on through the dense jungle and suddenly stumble over a human skeleton. Hang on, sorry, I'm checking if the sound is recording well. Yeah, the battery is starting to go down, but it takes a while. Human skeleton, yes. The maggots and insects have long since devoured the flesh, but the clothing looks like that of a prisoner who must have tried to escape. You wonder how he or she died. There is a hand axe and some rope lying by the prisoner, which you decide to take. Okay, so that's quite useful. Hand axe. I think there was a point where I was asked whether I did have an axe or not. Okay, so rope and an axe, very useful. So let's see. Rope, axe. Okay. So then I'm going to 105. Being very wary of the vegetation, you stay alert. Yeah, that's what Brian Johnson wants us to do, isn't it? Constantly looking about. Halfway up a tree to your left, you see a crude platform and a vine hanging down from it. If you wish to climb up the platform, turn to 286. If you'd rather press on, turn to 375. So we have platform 286 platform or 375 press on. So I'm going to check out the platform, see what there is there. 286. You have climbed about halfway up the vine when you see a head pop out over the edge of the platform. It belongs to an old man with grey hair who glares down at you, looking very angry. "Go away," he cries, "or you'll be sorry." If you wish to continue climbing up the vine, turn to 117. If you wish to take his advice and slide down the vine to continue northwest, turn to 375. So we have 117, continue. Well, curiosity killed the cat, but I'm curious and I will have to see what happens if you keep climbing. As you continue your climb, the old man jumps into defensive action. A barrage of coconuts is hurled down at you, and although you tell him that you mean no harm, he continues throwing down whatever is to hand, shrieking "Go away" at the top of his voice. By the time you reach the platform, you have a few painful lumps on your head. You lose 1 stamina point. Okay, so I'm down to 15. Down to 15 again. Now you see the man at the far side of the sheltered platform, standing nervously with a bamboo pole in his hand, wearing nothing but canvas shorts. Will you offer him some of your provisions? Leave him alone and continue northwest through the undergrowth. Step on the platform and pull his bamboo pole away from him. So 3 options there. Okay, so we have... Oh, one of them is actually already there. So we have 46, offer food, pull pole, 349. Well, I don't have much food to go on, so I don't know. I'll just pull the pole, see what happens. 349. Giving somebody food is, I suppose, just yeah. As you climb onto the platform, the old man throws down his pole and climbs higher up into the tree. He is very agile, and you will not catch up with him carrying your sword and backpack. You decide to leave him alone and climb back down the vine to continue northwest. So, okay. So obviously, if I want something else to happen, I'll have to offer him a provision. So, yeah. Right. Right. 375. Hacking your way through plants and shrubs, you become aware of a buzzing sound above you. Hovering over you is the colourful but threatening shape of a giant dragonfly, its iridescent wings beating fast, yet keeping the dragonfly perfectly still. Suddenly it plunges down to attack you. Right, so we have giant dragonfly. Let's see, I'm 10-15, that's me. The dragonfly is 8-4. So I've got a 2 skill point advantage. He rolls a 6, I roll a 5, so that is me hitting him just. He rolls 7 and I roll an 8, so he is quickly dispatched of. Right, so we have 8-4, and I win, and I go to 220. 221. Close to where the giant dragonfly now lies in a crumpled heap. Livingston likes its crumpled heaps. I think there's There's a few crumpled heaps in this one, and I think there were some crumpled heaps in Death Trap Dungeon as well. You see a patch of clam-shaped fungus attached to a rotting log. If you wish to eat some of the fungus, the only option usually when you find fungus is whether to eat it or let it be. So, right. So eat the fungus, 385, or set off again through the undergrowth, 224. So let's see, do like that. So that is 385. Eat mushroom or fungus, really. 224. Set off. But you've seen lots of fungus already. Why should this be different? Why would you decide to eat this one? Why would anyone eat fungus they don't know what is? I mean, for that matter, because that is something that is really dangerous. I'm going to eat it, of course. Because usually it's positive effects, isn't it? As you reach out to break off one of the fungi, its clam-like top opens up and releases a jet of spores into your face. They irritate your skin and lumps appear on your face. Your eyes start to close as the irritation increases. Will you? In order to hope it will go away, rub your face with leaves from a nearby plant or eat the fungus. Now, 110, eat. So, very often, rubbing your face with leaves from a nearby plant might work. Well, if the... I'm going to try rubbing my face with a nearby plant to see what happens. Might make it worse, though. Might be as poisonous or even more poisonous. You pluck a few lush leaves from a funnel-shaped plant and rub them furiously onto your lumpy face. The relief is instantaneous and the itching mercifully stops. If you still wish to eat the fungus, turn to 110. If you would rather set off again through the undergrowth, turn to 224. I'm still going to try to eat it, though, because I want to know what happens. Yeah, that wasn't very good. Not only is your skin allergic to the fungus spores, but your stomach does not take kindly to it either. You are violently sick, as the fungus you have eaten is poisonous. Lose 3 stamina points and 1 luck point. 12 and 9. If you're still alive, you gradually begin to feel better and set off again through the undergrowth. Turn to 224. So we have 224. Oh, hang on, you already got that one. So we have yes, 224. Hang on, 143 was where I was. Yeah, 224 was also an option there, of course. So eating, not a good idea. I suppose, in fact, that's also just, yeah. Right. You decide that you have gone far enough northwest to avoid the hunter's village and begin to cut your way directly west through the jungle. You have not gone far when you are surprised to enter a small clearing completely free of vegetation. A large green crystal lies in the center of the clearing, glowing and radiating heat. Will you walk around the crystal and continue west? Turn to 71. Touch the crystal, or try to chip a piece off the crystal with your sword. So, we have, maybe I'll just use this one after all. Let's see, maybe I should move over there, because there are some options there still to go. Okay. So we have 71 round. 232 touch or 370 chip. Okay. Maybe I'll start touching the crystal first, see what happens. So 232, I'm going to go to 232. Slowly and nervously you touch the glowing crystal. A warm glow radiates through your body and you feel invigorated. Add 3 stamina points for having benefited from the effects of the regeneration crystal. So 15, back to that. If you have not done so already, you may try to chip a piece off the crystal with your sword. Excuse me. Alternatively, you may leave the clearing and continue west through the undergrowth. So, is it wise to do a chip off it? Is it sort of half alive? Is it going to punish me for trying to chip it? I'll try, see what happens. So I'm going to chip it and go to 370. I'm going to lose something now. Oh dear, yeah. You swing your sword and bring it down heavily onto the rock. To your dismay, the blade snaps in 2, leaving you with a much shortened sword. Lose 2 skill points. And so it begins. If you have not already done so, you may touch the crystal, etc. So, okay, so go like that. Or you may leave the clearing and go west. So that is 71. Okay, so skill -2, stamina +3. Do not try chipping the crystal. As you continue to hack your way noisily through the lush vegetation, you are unaware of the 6 pygmies you have attracted, who are now following you. They surround you before coming into view, their blowpipes aimed at your exposed flesh. If you wish to communicate with them, turn to 276. If you would rather fight them, turn to 359. So, we have... right, 276 or 359. So communicate, fight. I suppose fighting is a kind of communication as well when you think about it. I'm going to try to communicate. The pygmies grunt and shout at you, but you do not understand their language. They obviously want something from you, but you are not sure what. What you have that you wish to give them? A hand axe, an iron bar, provisions, or none? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 options. I'm just going to go like so. 243, 327, 126, or 137. Axe, iron, provisions, none. I'm going to try giving them the iron bar. Iron might be very precious to them. I mean, they might not have any. I'm going to give them the axe because, well, I suppose it can be useful for them. But I'm going to give them the iron bar. So let's see what happens. Doesn't sound like a useful thing otherwise, and hopefully this might be it. One of the pygmies steps forward and snatches the iron bar away from you. He sniffs it and licks it, but does not seem very pleased with it. He gestures for you to give him something else. Okay, so iron bar, no. So that's not the right answer. So he was licking it. Maybe he wants some food. I'm going to try the hand axe next. Well, I've seen that's a different paragraph now but of course that means because I've already tried the iron bar. So 206 all provisions. Yeah, it's interesting how the paragraph of the hand axe is different now than it was before, but the provisions of the neither ones are the same. Does that mean that those are better answers? I'm going to try giving them the hand axe anyway. He grabs the hand axe from you, looking very excited. The others gather around him and start to chant. They seem jubilant with their new acquisition, which they seem to regard as a religious artifact. Will you leave them and disappear west into the undergrowth, ask them for anything in return, or attack them with your sword? Okay. So, okay. That's 1, 2, 3. I'll just move over there now, because I don't know how much space I need now, because this path is definitely quite fleshed out compared to the left one as well. So, 7, leave, 86, ask, or 359. That's the same actually as the one down here, so that's supposed to go down like so. I'm going to ask them for something in return. I think that seems fair. The pygmies look surprised at your audacity and begin to laugh. One of them steps forward and offers you some nuts and berries. If you wish to eat them, turn to 18. If you do not wish to eat them, turn to 295. So we have 295, no, and 18, eat. I'm going to eat them. I don't want to offend them by not eating, so what is offered? The nuts and berries taste delicious. The pygmies know what is good to eat in the jungle. Add 2 stamina points, plus 2 stamina. So I'm up to 17. Suddenly one of them utters a shrill cry and they all vanish into the undergrowth. You breathe a sigh of relief and begin again to hack your way west. Turn to 7. So we are here and we are now going to 7. Okay. Pressing on further west, you notice that the ground is becoming wetter and softer. Sounds familiar again. Soon you're ankle deep in water. The trees thin out and you find yourself wading through thick black mire. The marshland stretches out in front of you as far as you can see. Have I not seen this before? Or maybe it's a different paragraph number with the same text. That does happen. Oh, there it is. This is actually down here is 7. Let's do a double arrow just to indicate that these are the same paragraph. Okay, so all this bit here is then going from here to there. It's a very short way here, or it's a long way around there. So, okay, that's interesting. Seems like that's the most interesting path, certainly. So suddenly you hear the sound of a squelching behind you and are surprised to see a strange creature run past you. It is small with green reptilian scales. Its arms are long and hang down to the ground, and it moves rapidly over the marsh on its webbed feet. It pays you no attention. If you wish to call out to the creature, turn to 317. If you prefer to keep trudging west, turn to 158. And I called out to it last time, didn't I? I will call out to it again, because I certainly seemed to work the way I did it last time. The creature halts suddenly and looks over its shoulder to stare at you in bewilderment. Its wide mouth opens and the pink-forked tongue darts out and recoils just as quickly. Its big eyes look full of sorrow, but then you realize that the creature is a cunning marsh hopper. Despite their pathetic appearance, Marsh hoppers will often lead unwary victims into the lairs of carnivorous marsh beasts for the price of a few scraps of meat. There's a full stop too much then. However, no creature knows how to cross treacherous marshlands better than the marsh hopper. The marsh hopper beckons you with its head to follow it across the marsh. If you wish to follow it, turn to 58. If you wish to continue west alone, turn to 158. Now, my theory last time was that the first bit of way that if you follow it, it's going to be fine, because it wasn't trying to lure you to start with. But the second bit, when it tries to beckon you to follow it again, is where I think you're going to be lured into a trap. So, I'm going to follow it. I'm going to do the same as last time. That's what I will continue doing. Sinking knee-deep into the slimy marsh, you struggle to keep up with the agile marsh hopper. Suddenly it turns south and once again beckons you to follow it. If you wish to keep following the marsh hopper, turn to 235. If you wish to keep heading west, turn to 37. So I'm going to keep following it. No, I'm not. I'm going to go head west and go to 37. So, because that seems to be the safe thing to do. Is it? Hang on, what's that 37? I'm not getting something I can't remember what is now. Oh, the leeches. Yeah, okay. I think they're unavoidable, to be honest. Just out of curiosity, just what happens if you follow it again? Yes, that's what I thought. You meet a monster. Anyway, so sinking knee deep. Is that the word? No, 37. Although you're expecting some terrible beast to rise out of the water, everything remains calm. Gradually the ground becomes firmer underfoot, and soon you are out of the water and walking through thick mud. Keeping a watchful eye on the terrain and sky, you are unaware of the disgusting soft bodies clinging to your legs. It is only when you notice some discomfort that you look down to see the giant leeches wrapped around your calves. Roll 1 die and add 1 to the number rolled. This is the number of giant leeches clinging to you. You lose 1 stamina point for each and a portion of your provisions. You need salt to get them off your leg. Oh, hang on. It's a bit ambiguous, this, because does it mean you lose 1 portion of provisions per leech? Because that's what it says. But surely your food wouldn't just be salt, and salt wouldn't be the main part of it, because salt has no calories. So it seems a bit silly to lose 1 portion of food for each leech. So I'm going to interpret that there's a missing Oxford comma here, and that you're supposed to only lose 1 provision altogether. Otherwise, I think that's a bit bonkers. So 1 die plus 6, that's 2. So I'm losing 3 stamina. I'm down to 14, and I'm 1 provision down. Okay. And I think it's probably time to eat a little bit as well. So I'm going to eat 1 provision and be up to 18 stamina. And then I go to 280. After checking yourself carefully to make sure you are finally rid of the parasites from the marsh, you continue west across the muddy plain. Ahead, you see 2 hills and you decide to walk towards the gorge dividing them. Turn to 362. The ground rises and you are at last away from the difficult terrain. The jungle and marsh are behind you. Grass and flowers make the island appear lush and beautiful. But you know you cannot afford to relax. It is not long before you reach the gorge and see that it runs between several hills in a westerly direction. If you wish to walk down the gorge, turn to 40. If you would rather climb the hill to your right, turn to 194. And last time, if you climb the hill, you see an avalanche in the gorge, so probably a good idea to go up the hill. So I'm going to try going up the hill again, because that seems the safe thing to do. You walk along the side of the hill following the route of the gorge. Looking over to the hill on the far side of the gorge, you suddenly see a landslide start, sending rocks and boulders crashing into the gorge. Although you are not enjoying the tiring climb, you are relieved that you were not in the gorge, and the word gorge has been used too many times in that paragraph. Add one, there's still twice more to go, by the way. Add one luck point. If you still wish to walk along the side of the hill above the gorge, turn to 83. If you now wish to risk walking down the gorge, turn to 382. Now, one luck point, first of all, that's up to 10 again. Last time I went down into the gorge, and that seemed okay. I want to try walking in the hill this time, just out of curiosity, and see if something else interesting happens. So I'm going to go keep up the hill. The side of the hill is quite steep, and you lose your footing on some scree. You tumble over and slide down the hill. Test your luck. So my luck is now 10. And I roll a 10, so that is lucky. Okay, I'm down to 9. So test luck. Let's see. So that is 334 lucky, or 281 unlucky. So 334. You stretch out your arm and manage to grab a bush to stop yourself rolling down the hill. Lying on the ground, you see a hollow under a rock, but it's too dark to see inside. If you wish to reach into the hollow, turn to 145. If you'd rather walk carefully down into the gorge to continue west, turn to 119. Okay, so 145. I'm going to try reaching into the hollow because I'm curious, of course. As is, oh dear. As you slowly put your hand into the hole, fear grips you on hearing a familiar rattling sound. You try to retract your hand before the fangs of the rattlesnake sink into your arm, but it is too quick. Its poison is in your blood. You waste no time and cut the wound with your own sword to draw the blood. If your stamina score is 18 or below, turn to 264. If it exceeds 18, turn to 55. Okay, so stamina, 18, question mark. Okay, that seems like, okay, so let's see, 55, 18 plus, no, 19 plus actually, and 264, 18 or less. And my stamina is right now 18, so it's not high enough, so it's 18 or less, and I go to 264, and this doesn't bode well, I think. Your constitution is weak, and the poison runs, well, I wouldn't say that. 18, that's not weak constitution. And the poison runs quickly through your system. Your arm starts to throb and you break out into a sweat. Your vision blurs and you have difficulty retaining consciousness. Lose 5 stamina points. So it's down to 13. If your stamina score is now 9 or below, turn to 124. If it is above 9, turn to 364. So now it's stamina 9. So we have let's see, 9, oops, let's see, 124, 9 or less, or 364, 10 plus, so above 9. And it's above 9, so I'm going to 364. Although you are dangerously weak from the effects of the poison, you survive. You rest until finally you feel strong enough to continue your quest. If you now wish to drive the rattlesnake out of its hole with your sword, turn to 5. If you would rather walk carefully down... Why didn't I use a sword the first time? If you would rather walk carefully down into... I mean, you want to put somewhere dark you can't see. You want to use your sword or a stick or something. You don't use your hand. If you'd rather walk carefully down into the gorge, head west, turn to 119. So that's 119 down there. Or 5 poke. I'll just call it poke. I'm going to try poking the snake out because this better be worth it, I think, and hopefully there's something interesting there as well. So, thrusting your sword into the rattlesnake's dark lair, you hear the dull clang of metal striking metal. You forget about the rattlesnake and try to scrape the metal object out of the hole with your sword. In the sunlight, you see a magnificent golden winged helmet. If you wish to place the helmet on your head, turn to 292. Okay, so... Or head west. So 292 helmet. So I'm going to try putting on the helmet, of course. The helmet is over 100 years old and once belonged to a fabled warrior named Sog. Okay. How do I know that? Who also practiced sorcery. Wearing the helmet will cause any adversary to fear you so much that you will be able to win the first attack round of any battle. The adversary will only raise sufficient courage to fight back during the second attack round. Wearing your new armor with pride, you walk carefully down the hill into the gorge to continue west. Surely that should have given some skill bonus as well, but... So, helmet. So that is definitely a good one. And so, helmet of fear. Right, so now I'm going to 119. In the fine sand on the gorge, you notice traces of old footprints leading out of the gorge. They end abruptly in front of you, and there are signs of a struggle. 2 pairs of footprints lead back down the gorge, with 2 straight lines behind them as though their owners have dragged a body behind them. As you follow the trail of the footprints, you catch sight of a shiny object in the sand. You prod it with your foot and see an oval snuff box made of brass. Picking it up, you see that it has a hinged lid. You wish to open the snuff box, turn to 41. What did I do last time? I opened it, didn't I? Yep. If you would rather throw it back into the dust and continue to follow the footprints, turn to 325. So I'm going to open the snuff box. Can't remember what happens there now. Nothing bad, I think. Oh yeah, that's where I get information about the raft. So that is actually a raft. So that's an important hint there. Inside the snuff box you find a small gold nugget. So gold nugget. And a piece of paper with a message scrawled in charcoal which reads, "If you read this, it will mean that I have failed in my attempt to escape from the slave mines of the Lizard King. My raft is hidden beyond the gorge where the plain meets the river. If you are here to help us, please follow the river upstream until you see the mud huts. The slave mines are nearby, but beware the lizard man guards." Well, stating the obvious. You fold up the piece of paper, put it in your pocket together with a gold nugget, and continue to follow the footprints. Turn to 325. Okay. Well, I'm going to have a little rest first and do 1 ration. So I'm up to 17 stamina. The ground underfoot becomes rockier and the footprint trail you have been following disappears. In the distance you hear a faint rumbling. Could it be the yawning of an awakening volcano? You hurry on down the gorge, but are stopped in your tracks by the sight of a huge reptile blocking your path. You stare incredulously at the armored beast, which appears some 6 meters in length. It is a giant lizard, and it sees you as a source of food. You must fight it. So we have... I'm currently on skill 8, stamina 17, but I do have the helmet of fear. The lizard is 8-9. Now, the first combat round I win automatically because of my helmet, and the second round we start rolling. He rolls a 10, I roll a 10, that's a draw. He rolls a 6, I roll a 6, that's a draw. He rolls a 10, I roll an 8, so that's me down 2. He rolls 9. I roll 7. I'm down 2 again. He rolls 6. I roll 2. I'm down to 11. Oh dear. He rolls 10. I roll 5. Not very good rolling now. He rolls 6. I roll 10. It's down to 5 hit points. He rolls 7. I roll 9. He rolls 5 and I roll 8. He's got 1 hit point left. He rolls 8. I roll 9. And he's dead. Okay. Let me see. Yes, probably should eat some more as well now. Got 9 left, so I've eat 2 rations. I've got 1 left. I'm up to 17 again. And I go to 196. You step around the huge body of the giant lizard and press on down the gorge. At last the gorge widens out to become a grassy plain, and the hills are soon behind you. Not far away, some 10 meters to your left, you see a pond where many birds are drinking. If you want to drink at the pond, turn to 128. If you'd rather continue west, turn to 222. Now, the thing is, if you go west, there was a question if you had a spear. What happens if you don't have a spear? I don't know what happens if you don't have a spear. Maybe I should find out what happens if you don't have one. So I'm going to drink at the pond. Go to 222. Ah, yes. To your left you see movement. A small creature is running across the plain. As it approaches, you see that it is a small pig. The thought of roast suckling pig makes your mouth water. If you have a spear, turn to 342. If you do not have a spear, turn to 167. So maybe you don't get the pig if you don't have a spear. I'll find out. I go to 167. You run after the pig, waving your sword in the air, but it is too agile. It scurries off across the plain and is soon out of view. You slow down to walking pace and continue west, still thinking about the succulent roast dinner you might have had. Turn to 170, which is, that's the wrong color, 170, there we are. So, that is where the next page begins. I'm not very far off where I died last time now. In the distance you see rising ground, and beyond in the northwest the ever-daunting shape of the sleeping volcano. It is not long before you reach the bushy bank of a river running slowly southeast. On the far side the ground is quite steep and tree-covered. If you have read the message in the snuff box, turn to 288. I have. If you have not read the message, turn to 88. So there's no reason why you shouldn't have read it. So it's almost unavoidable, actually. Start a search amongst the bushes for the hidden raft, and before long you find it. Excuse me. Some water is needed. Oh. You drag it into the river and climb aboard. The river is not deep, and you are able to push the raft upriver against the light current quite easily with the long pole you have. Turn to 387. Okay. So 387. Ooh. Ah. Yes. Maybe I should have looked at page 2 of my map before I was... because it says something, yeah. You have not gone far before you realize that you are not safe even aboard your raft. You see a pair of eyes protruding from the water ahead of you, and suddenly a huge jaw lined with sharp teeth gapes open. With great force, the crocodile slams into your raft, almost knocking you off it. The crocodile thrashes round in the water, its jaws opening and snapping shut in its desperation to bite you. If you have an iron bar, that's where you need the iron bar, turn to 9. If you do not have an iron bar, turn to 204. But I gave away my iron bar, so I have to fight the crocodile. So that's why you need the iron bar, so you're definitely not meant to give it to the pygmies. I should have checked my map before I gave it away. So I don't have an iron bar anymore, I gave it away. So standing precariously on the rocking raft, you draw your sword to attack the vicious crocodile. And he's got a skill of 6. That's quite not a lot for a crocodile, I don't think. So my skill is currently 8 and my stamina 17. Crocodile is 6, 7. So that's not too bad. Famous last words there. I've got a 2 advantage. He rolls 8, I roll 9. He's down to... Oh, hang on. Helmet of Fear. So I win the first attack round automatically, and so he's down to 3 now. He rolls 7, I roll 4. So I am down to 15. He rolls 4, I roll 12. He's down to 1. He rolls 8, I roll 3. I'm down to 13. And he rolls 6, I roll 8, and he is dead. And I've got 13 left. I'll just eat my last ration. I probably should have gone with the stamina potion after all. I might just drink my skill potion soon because I don't have any rations left, which means I'm going to be running out of stamina soon. So you pick up your pole and push your raft away from the floating carcass of the crocodile. Unless you possess a pouch of unlimited contents into which you put them, your spear and your axe, if you have either of these, will have rolled off the raft during the battle with a crocodile. So I don't have an axe anymore, which I gave away as well, and my spear, which I never had, is gone. You curse your loss, but push on upriver. Turn to 390. Well, there's no loss to curse because I didn't have them. I'm just going to go there and say, oh, if I've had an axe now, I would have lost it. Oh dear, oh dear. And if I had a spear, the same thing would have happened. Oh, darn it. On the right bank of the river, you see a man dressed in tattered clothing. He is waving his arms around frantically and calling out to you. He looks as if he could be an escaped prisoner. Well, this is the guy who killed me last time, but it shouldn't be hard to beat him, though. But my skill was 4 at the time, and I lost because it's unarmed combat. If you wish to steer your raft over to the man, turn to 87. If you would rather keep pushing upriver, turn to 14. I still want to stop and actually have a look at this guy, because I want to beat him now, as revenge for killing me last time. As soon as you are close enough, the man leaps onto your raft. His eyes look wild and he is sweating profusely. He is delirious with fever and it is impossible to communicate with him. Suddenly he pulls a dagger from his clothing and tries to stab you. You do not have time to draw your sword and are forced to fight him with your bare hands. So during each attack round you must reduce your attack strength by 3. But it says as soon as you win your second attack round, return to 130. So I think I might only need to win 2 rounds. And my skill is 8 and stamina is 13. He is 6, 5, but my first attack round I get him automatically because of my helmet, so I only need to hit him 1 more time, really. So I've got a 5 for this combat. I've got 5 skills, so he's got a 1 point advantage. So he rolls an 8 and I roll an 8, so he hits me. He rolls 7 and I roll 5. He hits me again. He rolls 5, I roll 9, so he is then down. Okay, so then I go to 130. So 6, let's see, 6, 5, 2, and then it is 132 rounds. Okay. Just occurs to me there's actually been very few places in this book where you can escape from battle. You punch the man full in the face and knock him into the river. He screams but does not try to climb back onto the raft. You feel guilty about leaving him behind. Do I? Of course I don't. He was attacking me. But you must press ahead with your mission, turn to 14. So basically that was just a whole waste of time there. Which means that there's no point in doing that at all. And There we are. So that is the correct thing to do, is just to keep going and ignore the guy. The river meanders gently through the low hills. As you sweep around the next bend, you see a group of mud huts close to the left bank. So now we're getting to the camp where the people are held. You steer the raft into the bank to avoid being seen by any of the hut's inhabitants. Jumping off, you creep forward through the trees to get a better view of the huts. Standing behind one of the huts, there's a lot of huts in this paragraph. You see two tall, I mean, it could have said other things, it could have said buildings, abodes, etc., etc. Anyway, you see two tall reptilian creatures wearing armor and carrying whips and curved swords. Lizard men. If you have read the message in the snuff box, turn to 63. I have, so that's the second time I'm asked that, so I am literally up to snuff. So we have 63 snuff box or 270. Nope. So mud huts and lizardmen guards. You realize that the gold mines must be nearby. If you wish to walk past the huts to find the mines, turn to 147. If you'd rather deal with the lizardmen first, turn to 329. So we have 147 mines, or 329 attack, I suppose. Deal with, it's a bit sort of, yeah. But the thing is, if I try to walk past, maybe I need to do a luck roll, so I'll lose some luck. I still got plenty left, though. But I'm not that strong now. I've only got 9 stamina left. Yeah. I think I'll take my potion of skill now, because just to get it back to 10, just to give me at least a little fighting chance, because only 9 stamina left, that's not going to last me very long. I'm just going to have to try to sneak past and hope that works. I still probably have to fight now. I mean, at least this guy here, the Lizard King, presumably, at some point. Behind the huts, a path leads through the trees to the rocky face of a steep hill. In the center of the rock face, you see the square shape of a mine entrance leading into the hill. There are many footprints leading in and out of the mine. Step carefully inside, keeping close to the wall. The tunnel is lit by torches, which cast eerie shadows all around. You sense that you are walking downhill and soon arrive at a junction. Back to the dungeon crawl, are we? If you wish to turn left, turn to 274. If you wish to turn right, turn to 28. Right and left. Yeah, trust Ian Livingstone to make it end up in a dungeon crawl again. So I'm going right, yes, sorry I didn't say. Again, the tunnel splits at a junction. If you wish to turn left, turn to 226. If you wish to carry on straight ahead, turn to 101. So I'll just actually make this semi-geographical now. Let's see, so turn left, 226. Left and head 101. I'm going to go straight ahead. Oh, that's a nice picture there. You see a handcart with wooden wheels lying on its side in the middle of the tunnel, blocking your way. A short, broken skeletal body, perhaps that of a dwarf, lies beside it. A round borehole opens out into the tunnel, and you wonder whether a rock rub might have attacked the unfortunate dwarf. Yeah, I remember rock rubs from a Death Trap dungeon. The tunnel continues on as far as you can see, although there is no sign of life ahead. If you wish to crawl down the borehole, turn to 10. Well, that was a terrible idea in Death Trap dungeon. But maybe, just maybe, this time it's actually going to be something useful. 321, so continue. Because, I mean, there are several references to Death Trap Dungeon in this one, so I'm thinking maybe it could be a double bluff, though. I'm going to try going down the borehole. Because it's almost like it's trying to hint at me not to do it. It is so dark inside the borehole that you cannot even see your hand in front of your face. If you still wish to crawl down it, turn to 34. If you're having second thoughts and would rather back out and carry on down the tunnel past the handcart, turn to 321. So, I'm going to still go down and see what happens. Maybe there is something exciting in there. You carry on crawling down the tunnel, but decide it is leading nowhere. There is not much room to turn, and you have to tuck your head between your legs and flip over. You scramble back down the borehole and are relieved to reach the main tunnel. However, when you flipped over in the borehole, something fell out of your backpack. Deduct one item from your equipment list and lose 1 luck point. Yeah, okay, well, it's better than being killed by a rock grub, I suppose, but it's still a bit annoying. So, -1 luck, -1 item. Then you have to go to 321 anyway, so that is definitely a no. Okay. What item shall I lose? Rope or gold nuggets? Gold nuggets has to go. Right. 321. Well, it's nice now. There's one more thing I know not to do next time. The tunnel comes to an end at a junction. If you wish to turn left, turn to 19. If you wish to turn right, turn to 39. So, another junction. 39. So that's left and right. I'm going to turn right. The floor of the tunnel is strewn with rocks the size of coconuts. They are all surprisingly smooth. Some appear to move slightly, but you suspect it must be the dim light playing tricks on your eyes. Then suddenly one uncurls and shoots forward on tiny legs towards you, and you feel a sharp pain in your leg, as though teeth are tearing at your flesh. Lose 1 stamina point. So I'm down to 8 stamina. Let's see, 8 stamina. Realize with horror that you are surrounded by granites, vicious armadillo-like man-eaters. If you have been bitten by a rattlesnake, turn to 207. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe the poison of the rattlesnake will keep them off me. Well, wishful thinking. So, rattlesnake, question mark, and then, so, 207, yes, or 25, no. So I have been bitten by a rattlesnake, and I'm going to 207. The granite suddenly releases its grip on your shin and drops to the ground. You give it a hefty kick and watch it roll down the tunnel. The residual rattlesnake poison in your system has killed it. The other granites sense what has happened and retreat into the shadowy recesses of the tunnel wall. Cool. If you possess a pouch, that's quite nice actually, because that's the first time, or one of the very few times I've seen where something bad happening actually has a positive effect as well. So that's really nice writing there. I think that makes it much more interesting. If you possess a pouch of unlimited contents, turn to 371. No, I actually missed that one this time. Maybe it seems to be important, so maybe I should go and get it next time. So, pouch, question mark. So we have here 371, yes, or 192, no. Okay, so you You decide to walk on down the tunnel, but you soon arrive at the dead end. You have no option but to turn around and walk back to the junction. Turn to 57. Okay, so 57. Okay. I'm not sure if asking about the pouch is sort of a sneaky way to ask whether you have an axe or a spear, and maybe they might be useful for something. It's possible. Back at the junction, you may either turn left, turn to 361, or continue straight, 19. So there, 57, so 19 left, or 361. Let's put that up there, even though that's the wrong direction, really. Left. That should lead to, just to check now, because that should lead back to the... yeah, because it leads back to the borehole. Ah, but with a different page reference. Maybe this time, if you go down the borehole, then you actually meet the rock crop. Anyway, it looks like you can sort of go in there and go back to any of the other places, which is a nice twist. It's a little bit more sort of free for you to move around. It looks like. But I'm going to go to the to 19. This section of the tunnel looks as if it has been disused for a long time. The beams supporting the ceiling are cracked and look unsafe. You arrive at the edge of a vertical downward shaft not far beyond which the tunnel ends. There is no ladder running down its side for you to descend. If you're wearing red leather boots, turn to 392. So we have... if you have not found these boots, turn to 246. Okay, so let's go put that up there actually. So we have 392 red boots, or 246 no boots. Didn't I find the boots last time? I think I found the boots last time, didn't I? I think I'll have to study my map carefully before I play this again, because I think there might be a few essential items that I picked up last time that I didn't get this time. Yes, I did pick up boots last time, and the pouch of unlimited contents. Let's have to make sure I find out where they are on the map. Right, so no boots, and I go to 246. I don't have a rope though, surely that would be... yeah. Apart from jumping, there is no way down the vertical shaft. Has Ian forgotten about the rope now? I did pick up a rope. Anyway, decide not to risk it and turn round to walk back to the junction. Turn to 135. So 135. Go back. So I feel like I'm mapping it in a completely wrong way now. At the junction, you may either continue straight on, turn to 39, or turn right, turn to 361. So that's 361 there, or straight on 39. 39. Straight. So I'm going to go straight on. Well, hang on. Stop taking me back to where I was before. Am I walking in a circle there? Oh yeah, it's the granites again. So okay, so that's taking me to... oh, hang on, that's 39 there. 39 is already on my map. That's there. So that means I need to go 361. You arrive back at the borehole where the unfortunate dwarf still lies beside his handcart. If you now wish to climb into the borehole, turn to 298. So 298. If you would rather walk past it, turn to 47. So let's gets rather messy because you can walk back and forth, so my map is going to be really bad now. I'm just going to use the space over here actually, just to, because I know there's not going to be anything else going on there. So FF07, walk past, that will have to connect over here probably, and then it's 298 borehole. Now, I don't like the fact that there's a different paragraph number for borehole, which means now maybe the iron grub is, or the what's it called again? Yes, the SPAC anyway. So I'm going to walk past and go to 47. As you walk down the main tunnel, you pass the branch on your right and the entrance tunnel on your left. You come to the edge of a vertical downward shaft, to the side of which is secured a wooden ladder. So, you look down the shaft, and although you cannot see the bottom, you decide to climb down. Go to 315. So this means I went past probably the same as going to 274. I'll just check that now. Yes. So, I mean 315 really should be over here. And I'm going to take the arrow from there and all the way over there. Yes. Is that the same as... Let's check now, because we can sort of walk in circles here. 213, no, that's not familiar. Okay, so 315. It looks like there's the one more place I haven't seen yet there. Stepping carefully down the ladder, you eventually reach the bottom of the shaft. In the dim light, you see a new tunnel from which you hear the faint sound of singing. As you walk down the tunnel, the singing grows louder, and you also hear the sound of stone being hammered. Just checking my battery levels, it's fine. Suddenly you hear footsteps behind you. Will you hide in the shadows or turn to face whoever is approaching? Well, this is down in the mines, isn't it? So, might be a prisoner, might be a guard. Let's see. So 78 hide, or 347 face. Okay, I'm just going to face whoever is coming and see what happens. Ah, the lizardman guard. Walking down the tunnel towards you is a lizardman carrying a pail. Looks surprised to see you and drops his pail to the ground. With its guttural cry, it runs forward to attack you with its scimitar. And it's got, let's see. So I'm currently on 10 skill and 8 stamina. That's all I've got left in the whole world now. And he's got 7, 7. So I've got 3-point advantage. He rolls 8, I roll 4. That's not very good, is it? He rolls 9 and I roll 9, so that's him down to 5. He rolls 11, I roll 8. That's the draw. He rolls 8, I roll 4. I'm down to 4 hit points. He rolls 7 and I roll 9. He's down to 3. He rolls 4 and I roll 6. So he's down to 1. He rolls 7 and I roll 8 and he is dead. And I win and I go to 23. So let's see, that's a 7, 7. And then I go to 23. You pick up the lizardman's pail as it contains water which you imagine would be very welcome to the thirsty slaves. You walk on until the tunnel, so pail, I've got a pail of water there. You walk on until the tunnel opens out into a chamber, turn to 223. So pail, and then 223. What you see inside the chamber fills you with rage. 6 dwarves, stripped to the waist and chained together like animals, are toiling with hammers at a rock face. An armored lizard man urges him to work faster, occasionally lashing one of them across the back with his bullwhip. You put the pail down and run forward to attack the lizard man. Right, so I've currently got 10 stamina and 10 skill and 4 stamina, and the lizard man has 7. If you're still alive after 2 attack rounds, turn to 3, it says. So, okay, so I'm doing 8, 7, and then it's 3 after 2 rounds. 2 rounds. Okay, I only got 4 stamina, so maybe I won't be alive after 2 rounds. But let's see. I've got a 2-point advantage. He rolls 10. I rolled 3, so that means I'm down to 2 hit points. I should use luck now to prevent one of the points. But if I don't make it, that's a disaster. So I've got 8 luck, and I roll 9, so I'm down to 7 luck, and that means I've only got 1 hit point left, because if you're unlucky when you try to prevent damage, you take 1 more. So basically this doesn't look good. So he rolls 2, I roll 7, and that's 2 attack rounds. So then I go to 3. The dwarfs, suddenly encouraged by the possibility of freedom, turn to help you slay the guard with their hammers. The lizard man falls to the ground under a barrage of blows, and the dwarfs begin to cheer. They smash open their shackles and gather round to thank you and to quench their thirst with the water in the pail. You tell them of your quest to kill the Lizard King, and they all offer to help. You ask them where the other prisoners are and hear that they are working in other chambers deeper in the mine. You tell the dwarves to lead you there as quickly as possible. Turn to 161. So we have 161. That's what I thought would happen, but I've only got 1 hit point left now, and I'm basically screwed. Taking the lizard man's cloak to disguise yourself, you form the dwarves into a line so that it appears that you are guard in charge of a chain gang of slaves. Crack the whip with a smile and set off down the tunnel. You follow the dwarves down endless tunnels, well, not endless, obviously, because otherwise you wouldn't get anywhere, deeper and deeper into the mine. As you pass by another tunnel branch, you see a lizard man walking along it towards you. Test your luck. So, test luck. I feel like this is the end coming very soon now. So we have 74 lucky, or 262 unlucky. And I need to roll 7 or less to be lucky, and I rolled an 8. That's the point that I wasted trying to save myself in combat, and I don't have it left. So I'm unlucky, and I go to 262. The approaching lizard man calls out, oh, hang on, I forgot about my helmet in my previous battle. Well. Which means that I would actually have had, because that I would have yeah, still would have taken damage though, wouldn't I? Yeah, it just yeah, I wish I would have, wouldn't have made a difference. The approaching lizard man calls out to you, asking where you're heading. You cannot hope to impersonate a lizard man at close range and are forced to draw your sword. As soon as you win your first attack round, turn to 386. But of course I win my first attack round automatically now because of my helmet of fear. So, 7, 8, and... hang on, that's the wrong place now. Okay, 7, unlucky. 7, 8, and then it's round 386, 1 round. Okay, so I win my first round because I have the helmet of fear, so we lose that automatically. So I go to 386 right away, without any dice rolling. The dwarfs run to help you, and the lizard man is soon overpowered. You line up the dwarfs again and set off along the tunnel. Turn to 114. Okay, so that was quite useful with the helmet there. Gave me a little bit more time. The dwarfs walk quickly through the tunnels, their knowledge of the complex network acquired through months of slavery. They finally come to a halt, and one of them whispers to you that another group of prisoners is working around the next bend. You hear the dull sounds of picks and hammers hitting rock and tell the dwarves that they should walk on, and that you will signal to them the moment they should attack the prisoners' guards. They walk round the bend, and you see a group of men and elves chained together working at a rock face. 2 orc guards are yelling at them to work faster. They look surprised to see you, but do not see through your disguise until you're almost alongside them. They scream a battle cry and draw their swords. Test your luck. My luck is now 6. So I rolled 6. I'm lucky, so we have test luck. And let's move over this way now. So 2, 6, 5 lucky, or 138 unlucky. So unlucky, that probably means that I don't have to fight. Yes, the dwarves attack the orcs, spurred on by their hatred. The fight is soon over, the orcs being no match for the embittered dwarves. Turn to 121. But I still probably need to fight the Lizard King, and I don't stand a chance. Well, I do stand a chance, but it's very small. The elves and men cheer when the second orc is slain. The dwarves break their chains, and now you have 14 friends to help you finish your quest. One of them is from Oyster Bay, and despite his joy at the prospect of freedom, he is saddened by the news of Mungo's death. Armed with their own tools of slavery, the prisoners ask you to lead them to attack the stone fort used as a prison camp, where the Lizard King still resides, protected by his mutant slaves and elite guards. You agree to do so and set off again through the tunnels to release the rest of the slave miners. Roll 1 die. So, excuse me. Okay, so I've got 3 possibilities there. So it's on a 251. That is 1, 2, 9, 3. No, 1 or 2, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 2, 9, 3, or 5 to 6, which is page or paragraph rather 32. Okay, so we have. So I roll 1 die, and it's a 2. So I go to paragraph 251. By the time you have found all the prisoners and released them, you will have lost 4 stamina points in battle. If you're still alive, you're now the leader of 63 dedicated followers eager for revenge. That's quite an unceremonious way to end it, isn't it? Not even in a proper battle, but by releasing prisoners when I really should have been heading off minus 3 stamina there. But minus 3 stamina in the end, which is a new record as well. Okay, so minus 4 stamina. And that is actually the end of it, because my stamina failed. So, yeah, but I managed to get really far with hardly any stamina left, which I'm quite impressed with. But there were a few items that seemed to be essential, or might have been essential. There's the red boots, and there is the bag of unlimited holding, which might become significant again later. And maybe next time I can see if I can find a route where I pick up those as well. So that concludes my 3rd run, really, because I did, as you remember, I died on the beach, killed by the pirates to start with, because it seemed, I mean, there's a lot of fighting in this one. You really need a good skill, and 10 even is quite a low one. Although I did manage rather well with 10, even though it was reduced to 8 for quite some time. So that's it for today, and I'll be back next time with more Island of the Lizard King. And I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that usual stuff that people do on YouTube. Have you played this? Please leave a comment as well, but of course don't give me any spoilers, please. I know this video, of course, is full of spoilers, but I do like to be surprised next time I play it as well, so I do prefer it if people don't give me any well-meaning hints and tips under these videos. I do try, if I see one hint, I do usually try to delete it before I read it properly and just It's a bit difficult sometimes because I read so fast. Anyway, thanks for watching, and goodbye for now. Bye-bye.